And welcome to the Talon Outdoors Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
I'm Grant.
And I'm Fred.
Say hello, Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill.
Okay. And so if you didn't get last week's show, all right, so I'll reiterate just a little bit here. But we recorded this week's show a week early because, well, JD, I, and a bunch of people, and Fred, we may still have Fred with us. We should be on our way back. Fred's probably back in court already because he's flying around, and we're driving because we can't afford airplanes and stuff. We're in the van.
Yeah.
I might have that membership in that club you talked about last week.
We're taking the short bus up. And anyway, so we're in South Dakota. We should be back by now, but I didn't have a chance to record the show ahead of time. So
well, you might be back by now.
That's right. You're on another hunting trip.
I'm in Kentucky.
Where are you right now?
I'm in somewhere in the woods and just outside of Princeton, Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah. That's if we drop you off like we're supposed to.
Oh, I'll drive the whole leg from South Dakota to there to make sure I get there because I don't want to deal with a mad wife that's driving up to meet me to go deer hunting.
Well, she gets to go hunting whether you go or not.
And
is she going to take the
either.
rifles? Are y'all rifle hunting?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're hunting deer, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you've got massive monster deer. Well, okay, you got her a gift. So.
This is her Christmas present from last year that she's just now about Christmas again. And but yeah, I want to. If I don't kill a deer on this trip, I'll be fine. If I don't ever kill another deer, I'll be fine as long as because I get a lot of joy out of watching my kids and her hunt because they all enjoy it as well.
So
and
just the two of you.
Yeah, it's just the two of us.
A guide or just?
This is it's not truly a guide. We're hunting on private land. The gentleman's property that we're hunting on, he actually runs a high fence operation, and we're going to talk more about that in some later shows. It's through an outfitter here in Tallahassee that we're friends with, and he set all this up. This guy has a high fence operation there, and high fence operation. These are pen raised deer, and some of he's got 300-inch massive. This stuff you see at the Bass Pro Shop. You know, these big massive
drop tines.
Drop tines front that you just a Christmas tree on top of their head kind of thing inside the fence. That's not what I care anything about.
That is quite the Christmas present.
It's a big fence. I mean,
it's
not like it's a 10 by 10.
So he also owns some land, some hunting land, some woods, and some alfalfa fields. He grows alfalfa to feed the deer inside the fence.
So not only are they big rack, they're good tasting. I mean,
yeah. Well, we're hunting the outside the fence. We're hunting wild deer, fair chase, free range outside the fence. Wild deer that don't
got our high fence deer hunt for Christmas. I'm like, man, you're a good husband. That's not what we're doing. Right, we'll retract that. So I don't want to marry you anymore.
But anyway, so they kill outside the fence. They harvest every year. He lets 10 people a year, 10 people per year hunt his private property.
So you're still looking at big deer.
Yeah. He told me, I talked to him last week, he said on his cameras he has approximately 23, 25 different bucks on camera on his property that will score between 135 and 180 inch.
That
deer.
Ain't nothing to sneeze at.
Correct. I saw one of the 135 inch deer that was killed there last year. It was an 8-point. 130.
So that's like a
massive 8-point. But they also kill some 10s and 12s. Obviously, the biggest deer that's ever come off of his property up there was 196 inches for a wild, not fenced in, free range, fair chase. 196 inch deer is
feed them alfalfa.
Yeah, because they're eating alfalfa and living in a creek bottom where there's big acorns dropping on the ground. We're 16 miles, Fred. If you know anything about deer hunting, or you ever heard of this place, it's called Land Between the Lakes.
Okay.
In western Kentucky, and we're 16 miles from there. We're just on the other side of the lake from Land Between the Lakes.
I mean,
do they still have the Indian on their logo, or did they take that off?
That's Lando Lakes. No, they
it's got the 0 on there now.
But anyway, I did buy a
Grant.
Here we go. I did buy a nice video camera with a 30 power optical zoom and low lux capabilities for. I'm going to try my best.
One of them 30-06 cameras.
Yeah, got one of them 30-06 cameras. It's a long range video camera it's really made for filming hunts because it picks up in low light. So I'm going to try really hard to videotape her killing a trophy deer if we can get all that coordinated.
Careful, she might get canceled.
She might, but I don't think she really cares because
I got canceled a long time ago.
But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm on and he said, yeah, you're from Florida. The biggest problem you're going to have is you're probably going to see 15 to 25 rack bucks a day that will be big for you. He said you just have to be patient and be real cautious and look it over really good with your binoculars because you don't want to come all the way up here and do this.
That's what had happened to me. I'd need somebody sitting next to me going, don't shoot, don't. I'm like,
well, I'm going to try really hard to contain myself and be that don't shoot that one guy. And I'm sure my wife, she's killed some nice deer. She's killed a 10-point here and a 8-point out in Texas, and she's killed some nice deer, but neither of us have. I mean, my biggest deer is not much over 130-inch deer that in my lifetime. So the potential of me and her both killing a lifetime trophy antlers, and this place, they put you up. They've converted some grain silos into living quarters.
Yeah,
and
you're going to sleep in a silo?
I'm going to sleep in a silo.
All right.
But we're excited about it, and if it works out good and it turns out to be a great trip, we'll start passing out names and contact information and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to endorse something that or talk about somebody that if it turns out to be mess, I'm not going to tell them.
I know people that have bought these trips and have gone on these trips and
it wasn't a good experience
and got a doe. Yeah. And came back and spent $2,000 on a doe. I mean, and I hadn't been on one of these days. Maybe I will, and I would rather my wife go on and do. Here's the thing: is I eat deer. I eat a lot of deer.
Yeah, and that's me. I'm all about the hamburger.
the one rack deer I've got in my living room was the biggest buck I've ever shot on my place. I'm not impressed. We've got taxidermy around here. Most of it was donated to us. I mean, I'm not a trophy buck. Although we did go pronghorn hunting, and I am in it enough to where I want select slices of that, but I don't worship at the foot of an 8-point that is 2 years old. If I'm going to shoot something, I want something that's impressive, or I'd rather hunt on doe days.
Yeah,
or get doe tags or something like that, and just eat the meat.
Yeah, she and I both are. And you're the same way. We've had this discussion. For us, it's about the experience, not necessarily it's about the entire experience. The fact that she and I are going up there, and if we both get our deer or kill a deer the first couple of days, we got 3 days. We got 5 days to hunt. So if we
you ought to kill something.
If we get this done early, I told her, I said, baby, we ain't but about an hour and a half from Nashville, and she goes, oh yeah. So I said, so you never know where she and I get to spend 5 days together without kids and soccer and life, and so it's our nice little vacation. So
and then you get to take it to a taxidermist and wait about a year.
Yeah, I get to take it to a taxidermist up there because I don't want to jump through all the hoops of transporting all the. We'll bone the meat out and put it in the cooler and bring it home. But
I have exercised a few of the, without getting into any detail, exercised a few of the depredation permits we acquired here locally, and have some heads in a cooler waiting on the FWC. I'm gonna drop them off here. Working with our past guest on helping with the CWD
survey
polling area, surveyed over out that my way. I'm doing my part. Freezer's gonna be full.
I got a feeling a new freezer might be in the.
I won't shoot a buck this year. Oh my Lord! I told the neighbors, I said, listen, I got some depredation permits. Gonna be hunting with a rifle. At night. It's suppressed. It's suppressed. So it is what it is. So, but I just want to let you know what's going on. And we had 30 does on cameras at one time the other night, and I'm like, well,
you got a problem.
We're not helping the situation out much. We've got a serious overpopulation, and I'll tell you what. I'm out there picking up one, and they're walking out of the woods blowing at me. They're mad. So I would that is an invasion. We'll be right back. And we're back. So,
Charlie's mad at the camera.
Yeah, so in that last set, I don't know what's going on. I'm still figuring this camera thing out. But it just quit somewhere during the segment. I apologize. Not that you want to see us that much. It's just us, a bunch of guys sitting here talking. Yeah, but then again, that's the whole show.
A lot of preparation goes in.
Y'all listen. So I mean, some guys going, not anymore. Click.
That's what you said.
Well, that's okay, but so yeah. Anyway,
Fred, you want to tell your grocery store?
Yeah, man, maybe some
grocery store public story.
It's the confrontation I wish I would have had and didn't have. So I go to Publix. I had to get some stuff on the way home. Got 4 items in my cart.
Did it stop the itching?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good deal.
So you'd be surprised. I mean, Gold Bond works. So, but I'm on the way home, and I stop in. This is the Publix on Thomasville Road by the interstate, and I'm in the 10 item, the express, checkout, and in front of me is this granola crunching looking liberal type woman. Got her, the kind that brings the bags, their own bags in there that they reuse 40 times.
It's environmentally conscious.
Saving the environment. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Birkenstocks.
Yeah, they were like some kind of weird looking tennis shoe that even I wouldn't wear, and you've seen some of the shoes I got, and she's in front of me, and she's got her in.
What size shoes are those again?
Mine is size 7, but they're potent. And she's in front of me, and she's got her N95 mask on, and she's got about 6 or 7 items, And then there's a woman in front of her who's they could have been sisters, same granola looking outfit, little checkout bags, and she's got her N95 mask on, and there's a cute little checker girl sitting there. And so, I'm looking at the checker girl and not really paying attention to the masked liberals in front of me. And as the one in front's got like 30 items.
In the 10 item.
In the 10 item thing. And that's already got me fired up. And I'm not going to say anything, just okay, And then the one directly in front of me with the 8 or 9 items, as the 30 item woman is checking out, the one in front of me looks at the other masked woman. It doesn't look at her, looks at the checker girl, but is talking to the other masked woman and says, "Thank you for wearing a mask," as if to shame the checker girl for not having a mask on.
We long past the mask.
And I'm like, look, if you want to wear a mask, but don't sit here and passively aggressively bully the checker girl who can't say anything about it. And I really wanted to go up and say, lady, mind your own flipping business. And I had some other things to say to her as well, but I didn't. And then as I got home that night, and about 3 martinis into it dawned on me, I've got the radio. I got the radio show. So, lady, you know who you are.
And she probably
not listening to
this show.
Not listening.
But if you
maybe some of her friends are.
Yeah. And then let me just tell you, if you see a short, bald guy that walks like a penguin.
Not exaggerating.
I got your number.
That's about right.
I got your number.
Don't mess with
And I'm getting ready to take that class Logan offers.
And you know better than anybody that if something were to happen and they're going to go back and you're going to be sitting in court, they're going to be playing this. And, that was premeditated. You went there with a forethought malice or something like that. I just heard that.
No, it's going to be like that waitress out there in South Dakota. She comes after me, I'm hiding behind you.
You be careful now. She'll get you.
She's never going to
Especially when you're too drunk to know how to order a steak.
Look, steaks come in inches. I mean, you can order a 6-inch steak.
You can, but people look at you like you're stupid.
Well, she did. I mean,
listen. She thought it was
We
fun.
told that story before, but Fred was going to order a 6 inch or 6 ounce,
6 ounce
steak.
I want a 6 ounce.
6 ounce steak, which, you know, grow up and get a 16 ounce steak, but 6 ounce sirloin. And he ordered
the
a
best
6
he can at his size.
He ordered a 6 inch steak and in front of us, which was a really bad thing for
No,
Fred.
it was not good.
And the waitress is known for her
She is.
good humor and lack of sarcasm. She's not
Yeah.
sarcastic or angry or mean at all.
No, not a bit.
And if you go in there and you order the cheese bites, you might get them on about the third or fourth time the third or fourth day you go in there. The fried pickles. That was it. Yeah,
fried pickles.
What was it? Cheeselets. It was.
I don't know. Fried cheese curds
Yeah,
and
it was like cheeselets.
Problem is, we stopped off at that liquor store, gun store on the way after the airport, and it turned out they had Stoli Elite vodka, which is like the vodka. I mean, this stuff tastes like
and
water.
I don't know what possesses y'all to drink when we go out of town.
A
like that.
pallet. That place had a pallet of Buffalo Trace. A pallet stacked up of. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm not looking at the vodka aisle. That's not my. I don't do potato whiskey.
Yeah.
But brown corn whiskey on the other hand, I do like.
Yeah.
And I really like Buffalo Trace as one of my favorites, and it's really hard to get sometimes around here. You just don't see it in the store that often, especially not a pallet of it.
But you didn't buy a whole bunch. So.
No, I didn't buy it. I don't think I bought a bottle. I think.
You were envious of my beaver pelt that I bought.
Yeah.
I had that beaver.
6 inch steak and beaver.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's like
these trips are,
Fred,
and
it's
we're
like-
taking video cameras this year.
I'm thinking one of these trips I want to go.
So we're going to be walking around. What you doing next week?
yeah,
Or last week? What were you doing last week?
Well,
I forget when this
if
thing
you'll
airs.
be, Fred or Bill, if you'll be here about 1 o'clock on, load up in the van.
That Mercedes van in the parking lot's leaving out of here.
I won't be able to go to this one.
I think I'm going to bring my guitar this year.
Yeah, cool.
Sing some songs that got me kicked out of some bars.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
You do you know? Do you happen to know the? Do you happen to know the song "Willie Waylon and Me" by David Allen Coe?
Oh yeah, I know all. I got all his songs down.
All right.
Yeah, we can get it. And if I don't know it, I can just pull up and look at the words on YouTube and make up the melody.
Well, I can karaoke it, so
we can do some karaoke.
We might get we might have a concert and cooking. Man, this is gonna be fun.
And then you can move your mouth.
And we found out that we think your stepfather is going.
Well,
he bought
when
shoes.
they listen to this, we will know the answer. So I'm going to save that story till we get back, and we can record a post show and include some videos.
Boots.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Mom at the house the other night, and I said, "Hey, is Robert going to go with us?" And Robert's my stepdad, and he never he goes all over the place, does stuff, but it's only where he can wear Crocs and sweatpants. Mm-hmm. And he's the only guy I know that's got dress Crocs, and you wear some black socks and some doggone black Crocs, and you can wear them with slacks, and most people, we're in Mariana, so I mean, that's fine. So I told him, you got to have some.
Can you polish a Croc?
I don't know. Spray some WD-40 on them, wipe them off, and they polish them right up. WD-40 does a lot of things.
Yeah.
It does.
It cleans all. Yeah,
cleans your Croc.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a. So we will tell stories. I'm sure we will tell stories, and we will have some videotape.
Hopefully.
Well,
but he wears a size 14.
Well, he sent me pictures. He went shoe shopping. I said, "Well, I don't have any shoes in the store, but I can get you some camouflage stuff and some warm stuff," because he said he didn't like the cold, and he was afraid he was going to slow us down. And I said, "Well, you ain't gonna be the oldest guy there, probably.
No.
And you ain't gonna be the most crippled guy there.
No, I got that.
So
I got that one.
If nothing else, you can just go sit on the end, and we'll flush the birds to you. But just please go, because Fred, he's got stories too. And he's got jokes too, and so he's.
So I got to have a shuck off with JD and a joke off with.
There you go.
Just be careful.
Don't say that fast.
Be careful. So it's going to be. It's going to be fun.
We found out earlier today that Fred used to be a professional oyster shucker.
I was.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you can prove it for about 3 or 4 dozen,
we'll find out.
I'll find out how good you are.
We'll see. I mean, I got a quick motion with my right hand.
I think I'm about as good with a sharpened screwdriver as I am with the dadgum oyster.
Well, now if you could get Bill Logan he could give you some pointers and actually enhance your oyster show.
Like reflexes on oysters.
So how much damage can you do with an oyster knife?
Oh, I have seen some damage done with an oyster knife.
I've actually hurt myself with an oyster knife a couple times, slipping on the shell. But
was you wearing the white boots to go with it?
Yeah, well, Panacea Reebok.
Well, when I was talking to Mama the other night, and I said, well, he needs some waterproof boots. And I don't mean the white Panacea Nikes that they can get up there to Walmart. I mean something that I said that's the only stipulation. He can't take them. And if nothing else, we'll stop on the way and get him some.
He could drill some holes in them white ones and have some boot Crocs.
That's a good idea.
They make those, I think.
Oh, do they?
Oh, they do?
Never seen them.
Yeah, I've seen some cowboy boots, some Crocs with cowboy boot.
That's a travesty.
Pull on. Yeah, seen it.
Cowboy boot Crocs.
Yes, sir. Seen it. They out there. They
they just came out with them.
Yeah, they
did. I will find a picture and I will put it on the video for the show. See, the people that aren't watching on YouTube, they're gonna miss out.
Are they in like Franklin County or?
That's not the Croc version. Franklin County it's the Nike version. It's the Nike.
Yeah, I guess it would be what
Franklin County Nikes and Panacea Reeboks. Yeah, they're the white boots.
But I mean, a Croc cowboy boot.
Yes,
maybe you would find that in like Opp, Alabama or something.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Mobile, closer to the water.
Yeah, it could be.
Bay Minette, Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you we could find a pair in your size because they got them in the kids department.
I mean,
well, you got to wear them to court if we get you a pair.
That reminds me, Fred.
There's some girl named Candy in Bay Minette, Alabama. That's
wearing some.
I show up in those Croc cowboy.
Game on,
buddy. I mean. I'm not even going to.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to talk about something serious if we have to make it up. Be right back. And we're back. So last week I talked about doing a Right to Bear event in Dothan. I had the date wrong. It's December 14th.
Okay, so it's not a day that will live in infamy.
And it's at the Hilton Gardens.
Okay.
Wherever that is.
I know where I stayed there before. Well, I stayed there for a wedding one time.
I stayed at Holiday Inn Express once, and I thought I was almost as smart as Fred. But
you don't want to do it.
Anyway, no. So Hilton Gardens, December 14th, and so what we're going to be doing is Right to Bear is going to be hosting at Talon Range and Talon Training. And Right to Bear will be hosting a Alabama gun law seminar, and we'll be talking about I will tell you because I've been teaching some private lessons and teaching some basic classes up there here and there, and Alabama laws are a little bit harder to research. They're an attorney in here.
I went to law school in Alabama.
I know you did, but we don't hold that against you. So the problem, and Fred, you probably know more about. Obviously, know more about this than I do. In Florida, if I want to read a Florida statute, I just Google the issue, pull it up, look at the Florida statutes, and I can look and cross-reference, and it clicks and links and goes everywhere, and I can learn everything I want to learn about the history behind it and the Senate bills and the House bills. You're not going to find
it's a code section book in Alabama. I mean, I actually prefer the way the Alabama statute book is written
because it's simple. It's
pretty simple, plain English. Where we got to use a bunch of 3-syllable words in Florida, and I have to look them up. And
but where do you find? If I want to read a law about something to do with guns in Alabama, where do I find it?
Go look at the Alabama code.
I can't find it on the internet.
They probably don't have it on the internet. You got to go buy a book like we did in law school.
You have a whole section of books.
A big old section of them. You go in there, it's a library.
What I find is when I go looking on the internet, I'll find Alabama code, but it'll be old. It won't be like the newest laws.
Could be that. I mean, you can get it on Westlaw, which is where I do. So you might Google a statute. I don't typically do that. What I'll do is get on Westlaw and look at the statute annotated. And so it'll have the notes of decisions for whatever statute that is in different areas that have been litigated that interpret parts of that statute. Alabama's, there's an Alabama code annotated book.
So the guy that's picking peanuts right now on the tractor, he wants to know what he can legally do and not do in Alabama. He needs to come to this seminar and quit messing around on the internet.
Yeah, he needs to do that, or he needs to go find one of my colleagues, pay us, $600-700 an hour. We'll talk to him.
Okay, so you can get free. So you can
That's a lot of peanuts.
Yeah.
So if you use the code word Talon, and we'll put this out, you can call the range, and or find us on Facebook or whatever. But we've got this event going on December the 14th. At what did I say? Where did I say it was?
Hilton Gardens.
Hilton Gardens in Dothan.
On the circle.
On the circle. Is it off the service route?
On the service road.
So that's old school stuff. Anyway, so you come there and we'll
on the frontage road.
On the frontage road. Yeah, that's it. So, but anyway, so come there to that event and you can ask your questions and you'll get qualified legal advice, basically an interpretation of what you can and can't do. And which
is really good to know on the front end of things.
Yeah,
because on the back end of things, you find somebody like Fred. If you cross the line, not that you're a bad guy or anything. I don't want to have to ever hire you.
No, reasonable doubt for reasonable price. I can.
Well, it's hard to get an attorney to give you an answer up front. It's like, hey, what
Depends
can I do?
On how much you pay us.
And they go, well, it's kind of you have to look at, and then but you could. But the other thing is, but then there's always a set of circumstances. Now, on the flip side of that, once you get in trouble, they will take your money. And then they go, well, what you should have done. Well, no, what you should have done is told me. Now, Fred actually will answer questions when you ask him. But then again, he looks at us like, what? In what set of crazy circumstances would that ever occur?
Oh, no. I quit asking that question a while back.
Based on the stories that I've heard you tell.
When the guy burned himself down in my parking lot, that's when I was like, all right.
It's over with now.
Yeah, he's screaming my name. Turned out he had the wrong Fred. Set himself on fire. Right there in the parking lot. Screaming my name.
Let it roll.
It just.
Love will do that.
You can't talk back to Bill because he'll pull your eyeball out.
We'll be back in just a minute. And we're back. We mentioned armadillos on the break. I'd mentioned something on a previous show, or maybe to you, about Robert needing to continue the ongoing armadillo war at Mama's house. Mm-hmm. And he had run out of shotgun shells, 410 shotgun shells, and I took him a box of BBBs.
Ooh, that'd mess up a dilla.
And he said so about the first dozen or so, he was shooting with whatever else he was shooting. I was number 4s.
Yeah.
And they would you got to watch him when he tells the story, because he says, well, what they would do is that they would jump up and kind of roll over a little bit. He goes, they just lay down when I shoot them with these. He said it's much more humane and quicker.
Man, I shot an armadillo one time with a 22 in the yard, and I swear to you, it's not an exaggeration. That thing jumped straight up off the ground. From digging in my yard.
Oh, yeah.
From digging up my yard to 4 feet off the ground, just straight vertical spring, and I'm like, that's crazy.
On one of those landmines.
Yeah.
You try being short as I am, running around with jumping.
You're in danger.
Hills.
That's self-defense at that point, Fred, because
Absolutely.
he could jump up and bust your face.
I wonder if any of that Israeli stuff.
Yeah, you get that you could.
One of them kung fu dealers.
Yeah. Them things, they got my number. It's kind of like that deer out there in South Dakota had my number.
I'll save you. You just stay close to me.
We're going to do the same formation. We did the same formation.
All I know is if somebody shows up hollering Fred at the lodge, I'm going to run, because
he's trying to burn himself down.
You might be being stalked.
It could happen.
Another person in love.
It has happened.
Love will do that to you.
Love will do that to you, Fred.
I did't even hear what he said.
If y'all didn't catch that on the last part of the show, you got to go back and listen to that again.
Wait, what was that?
Because old Bill's sitting over there being quiet, and then just out of the blue, he just slips that one in right at the bell.
And he's sitting over holding it with his knife. I mean,
the El Shetty.
Yeah. I'm not going to open it. I'm scared of it.
No.
Yeah, you need to leave that sheath on that thing because it's still pretty sharp, even though I cut down a bunch of trees with it.
Yeah.
You got to know what you can't. I don't play. You don't see me playing with knives a lot because I use knives and I'm very proficient at like butchering with knives, but like playing with knives I'm not familiar with. No.
Bill, you're real familiar, I'm sure, with the Emerson Wave.
Oh yes.
So
I got one on the karambit on my boot.
There you go. So
God, no. How many weapons does he have?
he set the metal detector off.
He's a crazy knife guy.
So Charlie and I, we went out to.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So what you doing later on tonight? I mean,
Bill, the first time we went to SHOT Show in, I think it was out in Las Vegas.
It wasn't the first time.
No, it wasn't the first time. Anyway, we went to Las Vegas to SHOT Show, and we went to the Emerson booth, one of the knife booths out there.
Yeah, Ralph's a good guy.
Yep.
Pretty sure they have a picture of me in the booth.
They most certainly have a picture of Charlie at this point. Anyway, he picks up and we're looking at the knife. I'm like, oh, that's a Wave. That's, and I'm looking at the knife and I showed Charlie. I put the thing in my pocket. I said, he goes, what's the big deal about that? And I put it in my pocket and I demonstrated. I pulled it. He goes, wow. That's cool. I
didn't want to try it. JD goes, here, try it.
Uh-oh.
So I said, here, try it. It just catches on your pocket it just catches on the edge of your pocket when you're pulling it out and it opens the blade up. And okay. And he sticks that thing in his pocket and he goes to pull it out. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but immediately cut himself on the finger with a really, really sharp. So it was cut good.
But it was only halfway out of my pocket.
And it was only halfway out of his pocket. So now this knife is open, half open, sticking out of his pocket.
And I'm holding the wound closed.
And he's pinching his keeping it from, because it was bleeding good. And they're like, that's fine, we got Band-Aids for that. Well, Donna, his wife, decides to help him. Here, let me get that for you, honey. And
I tried to say, wait.
And she goes to finish taking it out. It doesn't open all the way because now anyway. And he gets stabbed in the forearm with it.
Oh no!
So now I'm bleeding from the forearm. I'm bleeding from the finger, and I'm just looking at the guy behind the counter. I said, "You got Band-Aids?" And get this. He goes,
"Oh yeah, we got lots."
No. He goes, "I don't know. I have to go look." And I'm like, "Really? It's a knife booth. You don't have." And he went back. He was gone for a while, and she's holding pressure here, and I'm holding pressure here, and I'm thinking, "This
100,000 people walking around looking at. Why is this guy bleeding?"
Blood on the counter, blood on the floor, and he finally comes back with some old box of Band-Aids and puts some. I'm like, and then the next year, we go back the next year, and I walk up, and he goes, "No."
Oh, no. Don't touch nothing.
I remember you. It was like nobody had ever cut themselves at the knife booth before. Like this was something new.
And of course, during this whole time, I'm being extremely helpful with the situation because I
completely understand.
I mean, look on the bright side. At least you can cut your pants off. I mean,
funny you will say that. Don't use the Emerson Wave feature when you're sitting down.
It'll cut your pants off?
I cut the whole front out of my pants once. That's why I do the
That's
reverse
good to know.
Yeah.
Just why I don't when people go, hey, check this knife out, it looks pretty good. I like that. It's cool. Just
leave it over there.
Yeah.
I like the out the front knives because I know which direction the blade's going in. It goes out, it comes back in. Automatic knives that I'm used to, that's one thing. But these fancy, hey, if you do this and do that and twist and turn, I don't want none of that.
I get that.
And the out the front knives, most of them, they're if you put anything in front of it, it's going to stop it from protruding. So it's not like you just have to make, if you accidentally activate it in your pocket.
I think out the front knives are probably the safest to yourself knife that exists because you truly never have to touch the blade. You never have to touch the blade to open it, to close it, to do anything with it. You
until
never have to put your
they
hands
don't retract properly, and then you're having to figure out how to do all that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You just open it back up. Anyway, I think out the front knives are extremely safe, especially for if you're carrying it for self defense.
Which is why I normally carry one until I lose it.
That's heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, I never like lose it.
Oh.
I like set it down, lose it, or it's in the laundry, lose it. And it's like my Microtech that I normally carry is still sitting on the counter because my wife found it in the laundry. Apparently, I have a bad habit of losing things in clothes that I don't wear very often.
Like hearing aids?
I lost a set of hearing aids in a shirt that I didn't wear for 6 months, and went and bought me a new pair of hearing aids and then found them. Yep, that's about your size.
This reminds me of a story real quick.
Fred's holding a buck peanut.
Yeah, this little tiny. I mean, probably 2-inch blade. I was bouncing at a club of Silver Bullet many years ago in Montana, and big guy picked a fight with a little Mexican guy. Little Mexican guy didn't want to fight, and knocked him down. The little Mexican guy got up. Big guy knocked him down again. Little guy got up, and I just saw his hand just move real fast, straight up. And that big guy hit the ground, and everything that was inside was coming outside.
Oof.
And it was a knife of just about that little teeny tiny 2-inch blade, sharp as a razor. Couldn't see it. Ended up testifying at that court date and everything else. He went to prison.
Why did he go to prison?
He went to prison because of the way things turned out in Montana as far as the way the laws were. I actually said he didn't want to fight. The guy was twice his size, and as far as I was concerned, it was the defensive use of a blade. But he ended up going to prison anyway. But I've seen people shot, stabbed, lit on fire, and open like a fish. And that's the one I'm referring to, is that little itty bitty tiny knife you never see. That's, as far as I'm concerned, some guy running at me with this is going to get 2 in the face. Okay, but that little tiny one you never see, that's the dangerous ones.
That's why knives scare me, and I've seen knife wounds over the years. Put that, just put it up.
But he sees it.
Just trying to scare him.
We all gonna do that?
No.
So anyway, but I don't like knives scare me more than guns do.
They don't run out of ammo.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
but yes,
and they are very concealable. Most every person has one of some shape, form, or fashion, and they're you can take them pretty much anywhere. If it's a common pocket knife in Florida, you can pretty much carry anywhere you want to, except in the courthouse.
Can't carry it in the courthouse.
You can't stick it in your pickle pocket.
Yeah.
Depends on your.
You got to go back and listen to the last show, folks. You didn't listen to the last show, you didn't get that joke. Did that pickle have pockets?
No, that was a problem too, because I didn't have anywhere to put my pen, my keys. I had to go back in the courthouse dressed like a pickle. Left my keys in there.
See, this is why everybody needs to go back and listen to last week's show. We'll be back in a minute. And we're back. Last segment. We've had the fortune of having Bill Logan here for 2 weeks now. It's been a long 2 weeks, hasn't it, Bill?
Yeah, it seems like forever.
Yeah. You keep wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's starting to smell a little bit.
Fred's wearing his same stuff, too. I'm surprised you did that.
I don't smell like a fire, though, right?
Yeah, we call it each other.
Anyway, so we front-loaded a couple of these shows so we can go out of town and have a good time.
Yeah, y'all playing with your little your grandpa folding knives reminded me of a story I was telling. Worked a case one time where a guy's in Bullwinkles, and he's from out of town, and he was not a college kid, and he was in town working construction, and went into Bullwinkles wearing a cowboy hat, and some frat boys started picking at him, and frat boys and girls started.
I have been on the receiving end of one of those one time. Got hit in the head with a radio by one of their security people, which was part of the frat.
Yeah.
Till I showed up later trying to kick the door in. That's the first time I met FSU police personnel. I ended up Mike Geibig and Michelle Yon. I ended up working for him and with her. She trained me when I went up there about another year later.
Yeah. So this old guy goes into Bullwinkles after working all week, putting up drywall at the university on a contract, and he goes in there to get a cold beer and sitting there bothering nobody, but he's wearing a cowboy hat, and guy starts messing with him, and there was a little scuffle inside, and one of the girls ended up spraying him with pepper spray. And the guy tries to leave and walk away from this whole ordeal, doing the right thing. And this is long before stand your ground laws and this kind of stuff. But he's walking away, and he goes out into the alleyway between Bullwinkle's and Poor Paul's, which is an alley in between some buildings there, for those of you that ain't familiar with downtown Tallahassee. Trying to walk away, and these three frat boys jump on him in the alleyway there and continue to try to get him to fight. And he pulls out one of those little folding 2 or 3 blade pocket knives that had belonged to his grandfather, and he hit that guy, stabbed that guy 3 times. Started at basically the top of, they're tussling. He stabs him about 3 times in the back, starting at the top of the shoulder blade, and kind of worked his way down the rib cage. And the guy, the frat boy, survived. He lived, and I got the guy up at the booking room and getting statements and photographs and all this stuff. And he said, "Can you do me a favor, sir?" And I'm like, "Well, what's that, man?" He goes, "That's my grandpa's knife, and I really don't want to lose it." And I'm like, "I don't know if you're gonna get it back or not, but we don't know the outcome of this. You may be going to prison, you may not. I don't know. You've got a pretty good self-defense case, and blah blah blah. But fact remains that this kid may die. There's gonna, you're gonna get detained." And he said, "Would you please get all that blood off my granddaddy's knife, because I really don't want it to rust." And I felt so bad for the guy, and I so related to that, because pocket knives and things like that get passed down through the family. That was my granddaddy's knife. And so, but long story short, he did get arrested and go to jail that night. But he was the case was dismissed on the grounds of self-defense, because by the end of the whole scuffle, there was several females and about 3 males involved in jumping on this guy, and he used a pocket knife very, very effectively. A small, just a folding pocket knife, not any kind of tactical knife or whatever. Very small pocket knife to defend himself. So it's a very formidable weapon. Anything that we can pick up and put in our hands that's not not attached to us.
Force multiplier.
Yeah, is absolutely, we joke about John Wick and the pencils and all that kind of stuff.
I saw John Wick kill a guy with a pencil.
Well, and it can be done. It's not, an ink pen, or if that's what you have. And unfortunately, there's places that we go that you can't have much else.
It always got me when I'd see a charge, and it would be aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. And it would be that somebody struck somebody with a handgun, and I said, "Well, all they did was hit him with the hand. It didn't try to kill him or nothing. Just hit him with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon." And
I defended an aggravated battery with a Tums bottle one time.
Well,
Woman got mad at her husband, clocked him over the head with a glass Tums bottle.
Well, it was glass, so But my point is because it was classified as a deadly weapon, it became it became that really serious charge when all they did was hit him with it. Yep. Like I picked up, if I pick up a gun and I go, "Get away from here," and that's an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Well, that was aggravated battery right there, just because the force of that blow was so hard. I feel it.
There's no intent.
I'm not going to be able to shoot.
Let's just soften you up for the fight here after the show. So
better be careful. Got my knife.
I will shoot you over that little knife. I'm telling you, knives scare me. I don't like. I'm staging myself for court one day, because if somebody pulls a knife on me, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna shoot them.
I'll put it in my pocket.
But I'm not. I'm telling you, I've seen too much. Bill, if you were, I don't know, you're a knife guy, gun guy, so if you had to face somebody down and they had a knife, they had a gun, obviously the gun's gonna kill you quick.
Yeah.
But if we're in close, we're 3 feet away from each other, would you rather me have a gun or a knife?
Gun.
And why?
It's only dangerous in one direction, really. Knives are dangerous in all directions, and they're extremely hard to disarm. They're extremely hard to avoid.
A knife. Yeah.
A knife. To me, like you said, I'm more scared of somebody who has a knife and knows how to use it in any way than just a firearm. Now, obviously, at distance, firearm rules, but if you're talking within arm's length distance, the knife scares the living crap out of me.
Yeah. And we live at arm's length distance.
Absolutely.
We interact every day at arm's length and inside that 7-yard reactionary gap.
If I'm within a step of somebody, I can usually hit them before they even see me move. And with a firearm,
learn how to do this.
With a firearm, a lot of people decide to use a firearm, as a deterrent. They pull it out. They don't always mean to shoot. So there's sometimes there's a moment there, but guy pulls a knife out a lot of times. He's serious. And it's terrifying.
Well, he's certainly willing to get nasty and dirty because knife fighting is not a pretty sport.
No, not at all.
This is why you don't have competitive knife fighting.
No. And those guys all over town that want to come out, and I get these all the time. They're, I'm a knife fighter. And I'm like, you're a what? I'm a knife fighter.
Let me see.
Okay, show me the scars. You're not a knife fighter if you don't have scars. Mm-hmm. You might have been nicked or something. I don't know, barbed wire, whatever. But
you might have been to the Emerson booth at SHOT Show.
possibly. But
I got in a fight with a palm tree.
Yeah, those. That's really very scary. When you think about what a knife can actually do.
And the thing is most of the people that are going to assault you with a knife, and especially like in the law enforcement field, if somebody's going to fight you with a knife, you're not going to know until you're already hurt.
Not if he knows what he's doing. Yeah. If he's doing the whole West Side Story thing where he's tossing it from hand to hand and he's
that's posturing. That's posturing. That's not fighting.
Yeah. He's not serious, and he's he may be serious, but he's not skilled.
You do that, I'm gonna pull Indiana Jones on you. I'm gonna shoot you.
Exactly. Yeah. But the guy who knows how to use one, and his intent is there, you'll probably never see it. You'll think you got punched, but you didn't get punched. You got stabbed. It's pretty scary. Now, I get a lot of ladies, with self-defense, and this is where I send them, because you guys send the ones to me, but this is where I send them back to Talon to finish out training. I get a lot of ladies that, at one time they'll say, they can never shoot, use a gun for self-defense and shoot somebody or whatever, but they could stab somebody. And then I have to sit down and talk with them a little bit. I'm saying, okay, so obviously you don't have a problem in killing for self-defense because you're willing to use deadly weapons, whether it's a knife or a gun. You're choosing to stab somebody. Well, you have to be a lot closer. It's a lot messier, and you actually got to see the light in their face. Yeah. You are so close, it's completely different. So you don't have a problem killing, but you won't use a gun. Well, when we start talking about it, what it really turns out and comes down to is guns are loud. Yeah. The women are, more worried about because it's a loud noise or whatever, but they don't have a problem killing because they would use a knife. But you have to be up close, personal, and humans smell bad on the inside. Sorry, they're that close when you use a knife.
All animals do.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's really
you're telling me women don't want to use guns because they're loud.
Yes, exactly.
Is that not the biggest oxymoron?
We have an innate deterrent. We don't like loud noises from the crib, and it expands. And so when we're teaching women, a lot of times, and some men that have that type of deterrence, the aversion to loud noise, or hand strength issues or anything else. There's a whole, and that's part of teaching firearms and teaching people self-defense skills is to get through to what the core issue is, and then see if they're determined enough to actually fight for their life. And if they are, then you got to get them past all that. And there's techniques that in your field, our field, collectively, and it's tough sometimes. Yeah. Get them over that hump.
Well, I know you guys are capable of doing that. That's why I always send them, to Talon if I can, to help them get through those and become proficient with the firearms.
We don't just use any instructors. Sometimes
I know that.
It's got to be people who are patient. It takes a lot of, as you know, when you're talking to somebody about teaching a personal skill, it takes a certain techniques and an understanding and a level of patience that is priest-like.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.